Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to daily current affairs session. So we'll see the current affairs of today. These are the articles that we are going to cover today. We will see like what are the subjects. All the current affairs can be categorized into some of the static subjects, right? Like polity, geography, history, environment, like that. Let's see what are all the topics that we have. First one, trees outside forest program. So the name itself easily we can suggest this is part of environment, right? Then rooftop solar energy, a very important. We have article of very good details were given in the Indian Express page. So we'll see all the facts and you can expect a question from it, right? So this is part of energy and you can take it as part of environment as well, renewable energy, right? Then leader of opposition status. So what is the criteria? So all those things we will see. This is part of polity. This is part of polity subject. Then coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. We have discussed this many times, like 2-3 times we have discussed in the last 3-4 months. Again it is there in news, right? So we'll see this as well. This is part of disaster management, right? Then persistent organic pollutants. So again this is part of environment. These are pollutants. So we have approximately 3 articles till now. Yes, one more article is there. Crocodile conservation project. So this can be taken as part of environment or geography also you can take. Environment. So a lot of environment articles. Then Eflow monitoring system. So this is part of geography. This is part of geography, right? So these are the 7 articles that we will discuss in detail, and rest of the we have 4 to 5 factual pointers that also you need to know, right? Finally, we'll see some practice questions as well. And if you have any doubts, you can ask your doubts here in the comment section. A very good evening. Hi. So let's start the session with the first article, that is tree outside forests program, right? So the context is the experts. This is the article from the Vijayawada edition. Usually we need to refer to different editions because some articles at the local level are also important for us, right? So this was taken from Andhra Pradesh Vijayawada edition, that some experts are encouraged, they are asking to promote trees outside forests program, right? Now currently, what is the forest percentage of India? Can anyone tell this answer? What is the current forest percentage of Indian area? Out of the total 3.24 million hectares, right, square kilometers. So what is the percentage of area that is occupied with the forests? That is approximately 21.5 or approximately 22%, right? And according to the forest conservation rules that we have kept, forest conservation policies, the forest percentage that we need to achieve is 33%, right? So we need to achieve 33%, but we are having only 22% approximately, right? Now, the most of the tree cover is occupied, this 22% mostly of the tree cover is located in the forest areas only, right? Almost all this 22%, except few things like mangroves and all, almost everything is located in the forest only. So now, if you want to increase the tree cover, you might have seen how the heat waves has occurred in the recent times, right? Lot of climate change events. This is because we are destructing the forest. We are, degrading all the forest lands or the tree cover, and we are doing it in terms of urbanization and all. Because trees takes carbon dioxide and they release oxygen, so which will cool the environment or earth, right? So to increase our tree cover, now what we need to do, we need to chart out a strategy to increase the tree cover beyond the forest. Forest was already, it was stagnated. We need to choose the beyond areas of forest where we need to promote the tree conservation or tree cultivation, right? So this is the background why the government in collaboration with the United States has brought the initiative called Trees Outside Forests Program. That means to encourage to grow the trees outside of the forest region, because forest has been stagnated. We need to choose the beyond areas, right? That is the objective. So this is a joint initiative. You need to understand the concept or the background why it was brought, right? You know the reason why it was brought now. Let's know the facts also, right? So this is a joint initiative of United States and India. Firstly, we are collaborating with the United States, and within United States, what is the agency? US Agency for International Development. And from India, it is Ministry of Environment. So these two organizations are collaborating each other to promote the tree cover beyond the forest areas, right? So that is the aim, and that is the bodies or organizations involved in this initiative, right? So the aim is to increase the tree cover in 7 Indian states. It was not covered for all the Indian states, rather on pilot basis. In the beginning, they have chosen 7 Indian states. So this project is not covered for whole India, rather 7 states, that is Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Haryana, Odisha, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh, right? So these are the 7 states where this initiative will be launched or implemented in the pilot basis. Later, yes, it can be expanded as well, right? So as we have seen, how can we do this? Yes, we understood that we need to grow trees beyond the what you call forest areas, but how can we do it? We cannot solely depend on the government. We cannot solely depend on the expertise of the government or the financial resources. We need to encourage the private players like corporates or NGOs. So that's why this brings together the farmers, private entities, business, all the beyond government organizations to include here. They will also benefited because environment is benefited to everyone. So they are also encouraged to take part of it. So these components like pastures, parks, cities, roadside, river conservation, all these things can be encouraged through this initiative, so that tree cover will increase beyond the forest areas, right? So this is not just about the government initiative, but collaboration of the multi-stakeholders, right? The program will be implemented. One organization should be there, right? So this is being implemented by Center for International Forestry Research, CIFOR, and World Agroforestry Center. So these two organizations are collaborating. That means the countries collaborated, fine, they just give the funding and all. But in the end, it should be implemented. Where should be the land be taken, right? What type of tree cover should be grown in that particular land? All these things are implemented through these two organizations, Center for International Forest Research and World Agroforestry Center, right? So this is about the initiative. Any doubts in this? A very simple article. You just need to know about the objective, why they have bought this initiative, and which organization or which countries are collaborated with it, what is the aim, which states are involved in it. So all these facts you need to remember as well, right? So this is about the first article, very short and very sweet as well, because it is of environment related one. Next, and a very important data we had from the recent data, see, the March 31, 2024. So very recent data we got related to the rooftop solar energy, right? So the context is, okay, fine, let's discuss what is actually the rooftop solar power. Usually, you all know that we are encouraging to grow the solar energy in terms of our energy mix, because it is renewable. There is no climate effects related to the solar energy. But most of our solar energy is a commercial one. That means we are specifically taking space for it, and then we are doing the solar panel and then conserving the energy, storing the energy in a commercial basis. But this is somewhat what you call very difficult to sustain for longer time, and we don't have too much land also in India. That's why if all the houses itself, your own house, do you think, tell me, do your house has the solar panel? No, most of our houses does not depend on the solar energy, right? We are consuming the fossil fuel energy distributed by the DISCOMs, right? Distribution companies in the state level, right? So that's why now government want to encourage the rooftop. That means all the houses, they themselves has to deploy the solar panels over the roof of their houses. So that energy, if the solar panels are constructed over the houses by the households, that is called as the rooftop solar energy, right? So that is a very simple concept. Now we have a data for it. You need to remember which states are top, what is the amount of rooftop solar energy, right? All those things are important for us. India's installed rooftop solar capacity increased by 2.99 gigawatts. So in the last 1 year, we were able to increase 2.99 gigawatts in 2023-24. That means approximately 3 gigawatts. You can remember it as a 3 gigawatts. Okay. So this is the specific rooftop solar energy that we were able to add in the last 1 year, right? The total rooftop solar energy till now is 11.87 gigawatts. This, both the facts are important. You have to remember this also. As of 2024 March 31, what is India's rooftop solar energy? They may ask you this. This is approximately 11.87 gigawatts, and in the last 1 year itself we have added 3 gigawatts of rooftop solar energy. So in the context itself we got the two important facts, right? Yeah. Now let's know about the background, from when we have launched this. See, the current affairs questions can be framed from the background also, like the past also they may ask you the questions by linking to the current affairs, right? So for the first time we have deployed the solar energy through Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Program. This was launched in 2010. A very important fact, Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. For the first time India has deployed the solar energy. Till the time 90% of our energy is nothing but the fossil fuels. But now approximately 41% is of renewable energy itself. That means around 60% is the one which the coal-based energy, right? So for the first time we have launched the solar mission under Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission in 2010. A very one important fact. And under that initial target that we have kept, the total, it is not just about the rooftop solar energy, the total solar energy that we have kept as a target to achieve under Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Program was 20 gigawatts by 2022. In the 2010 itself, for the next 12 years, we have kept the target as 20 gigawatts of solar energy by 2022, right? But later it was revised, because within 2-3 years we got this energy. Within 2 to 5 years we have achieved this. So that's why the government has revised the target. This was the target, 100 gigawatts by 2022. Many times this has been asked in many of the exams. What was India's target of solar energy by 2022? That is 100 gigawatts we have kept as a target, right? Out of that 100 gigawatts, 40 gigawatts were kept as a target from rooftop solar energy itself. Out of the total 100 gigawatts that we have kept as a target, 40 was rooftop solar energy. But have we achieved this? No. Currently you can see just 11.87 gigawatts is the one which we have achieved, even though the target was 40 gigawatts. So we were not able to achieve the target. We were able to achieve this target. Overall commercial solar panels has increased, but rooftop solar energy has not been increased, right? So this is one backlog or disadvantage or the challenge that Indian solar energy sector has faced, right? Now, as of December 2022, the RTS, anyway, this fact is not useful now, 7.5 gigawatts in December 2022, but as of March 2024, we have kept 11.87 gigawatts. You can just remember that, right? So this is the, this is the current solar energy. This is a invalid fact, even though I copied from the article, but this is the data of December 2022. But we have the data of 2024 itself, right? But India's overall rooftop solar energy, our rooftop solar energy is 11.87, but our capacity is estimated to be around 796 gigawatts. That means if every house could able to put their solar panels over the house, that will lead to generation of 796 gigawatts. So this is our total capacity, but we are just at 11.87, right? So this is one of the challenges that we have faced. And to achieve, we have extended the target. By 2030, India has promised at the global level, right, UNFCCC conference and all, that we are going to add 500 gigawatts of solar energy. Understand this? 2022 it is 100 gigawatts. But we have said to the other countries in the international forums that by 2030, we promise that our total solar energy will be 500 gigawatts, right? 500 gigawatts, and out of that, at least 100 gigawatts should be of rooftop solar energy. The current 11.87, we have to increase to 100 gigawatts. If not, it is very difficult for us to achieve this target, right? So this is the target that we have kept. Any doubts in this? Fine. Now, state-wise, out of the total rooftop solar energy, this is rooftop only, not total solar energy. Rooftop solar energy. The leading states were Gujarat. Gujarat is the top in terms of rooftop solar energy. Overall solar energy is of Rajasthan. We have discussed this some 1.5 months back, right? Related to the total solar energy targets and all. But this specifically, Gujarat is the top in terms of rooftop solar energy. Overall solar energy, it is Rajasthan, right? Followed by Maharashtra and Rajasthan. So these three states you can remember. They will mostly ask you the top state itself, but anyway, for our safety, we can remember the rest, second and third as well. Maharashtra and Rajasthan. These numbers are not very important. Nobody can remember. Even if you remember now, in the exam you will confuse and you will forget. So just, they won't ask you mostly. Just remember the rankings of these three states. Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, right? So this is about the rooftop solar energy. Now, the government has, in this year budget itself, 2024 budget itself, as we have seen, our target was not achieved, right? 40 gigawatts we kept, but the target was only 25% that we have achieved. That's why the government has bought Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana was brought in this year budget. The aim is to generate approximately, target addition was at least 20 gigawatts of rooftop solar energy want to be added. Through this particular scheme itself, government is aiming to generate 20 gigawatts of rooftop solar energy. This will be asked in the exam, right? Through this scheme, what is the aim of India's rooftop solar energy? 20 gigawatts of rooftop solar energy, and the total funding support for this scheme was 75,021 crore. This is the budget allocated. And if someone is deployed these things, you can also involve in this scheme if your house is not having rooftop solar energy. So 30 units of electricity per month will be free. If you deploy the solar panels, rooftop solar panels under this particular scheme, 300 units of electricity will be freely available to you, right, without any charge every month. So this is the incentive given to the households to encourage them to deploy the rooftop solar panels. And the objective is to cover 1 crore rooftop solar households, right? In the 1 crore households, they want to encourage to deploy the solar panels. That is the objective, all right? So this scheme will involve solar power rooftops in the residential consumers. Already commercial ones were mandated, but residential ones, they are aiming, right? So this is about the scheme and statistics. Any doubts in this? A very good article. You can expect some question in it because renewable energy is a part of many of your exams, state PSCs or UPSC, any exams if you write, you will see that. Any doubts in this? If not, we'll move to the next article. If yes, you can ask your questions in the comment section. Okay, I'll clear. Next article, leader of opposition. Leader of opposition. The context is Rai Bareli MP Rahul Gandhi, who is also part of Congress, right, has got the status of leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. In the last 10 years, that means from 2014 till 2024, we don't have any leader of opposition. We don't have LOP, leader of opposition, because no party has got the 10% of total Lok Sabha seats. What are the total Lok Sabha seats? 542, right? Total. Out of that, or 543 you can say, out of that 10%, that means 54.2, that means 55. One needs to get 55 seats, right, according to the convention. Convention means that we are following since many years. There is no rule, there is no constitutional framework for it. But just that we are following since many years, at least 10% of total Lok Sabha seats we need to get to recognize as a leader of opposition, right? So this was not, we will see that also. The Congress has not got this in the last 10 years. That's why this become a prominent now. You can expect again a question. Now, the party has got around 99 seats in this recent election, so they crossed this number. Now, that's why the Rahul Gandhi was elected as a leader of opposition, right? So this is the context why we are discussing this article. Yeah. So let's move to the discussion on what actually is a leader of opposition and all. So background we have already discussed. In the last 10 years, no party has got the 10% of votes. You can see here 44 and 52 were the seats that Congress has got. They have coalitions that other parties have supported, but single party has to get it. Any single party which is having the highest number of seats apart from the government, they need to at least get 10% of votes according to the convention, right? But the number of seats were just 44 and 52 in the last two elections. That's why no party was given the status of opposition party, right? So that's why the leader of opposition was also absent. Fine. So that's why 543 member house, at least 55 should be there, but they did not get, right? Now in the current situation, they got the 99 seats. Now they got the opposition status as well, even according to the convention. Fine. Now what is the rule from where this is derived? So who can be recognized as a leader of opposition? See, you have to remember one thing. They will ask you in the exam that constitution mentions this thing and all. So nowhere, not even in rule book, not even in the constitution, nowhere it was mentioned that 10% of seats has to be, to get the opposition status. Nowhere it was mentioned, right? It is just the convention. Convention means we are following since many years without any rule book. This was the just convention, right? So there is no rule of to get and all 1/10, but yes, we are following since many years, so that's why we are able to follow that as well, right? Yes, there is no rule for it. But this is the most important thing. Remember, the Salary and Allowance of Leaders of Opposition in the Parliament Act 1977. So we have a act, statutory act passed by the Parliament itself. The name is Salaries and Allowance of Leaders of Opposition in the Parliament Act 1977. According to this act, remember, according to this act, who is the leader of opposition? The leader of opposition is whichever is the party with having the highest number of seats after the government, right? So just that the leader of largest opposition party recognized by the speaker. Two conditions should be satisfied here. One is the largest opposition party and recognized by the speaker of those Lok Sabha. So here there is no mention of 10% at all. The act itself clearly says that whatever the party gets the highest number of seats beyond the government recognized by the speaker will get the opposition status. But we were following this 10% since many years. That's why the opposition status was not given by the speaker. The speaker has not recognized in the last 10 years to give the opposition status because they did not get the 10% seats. Alright, so this is the condition. This is the one which actually talks about the leader of opposition. There is no 10% rule at all. It is just about the giving to the largest party in the opposition, right? So this is the condition. Now, what is the role and significance? What is the status of leader of opposition, right? Why that is very, very important. As our country is a democratic country, you all know that the government should be questioned by some people. Right? People, of course, they are elected by the people itself, but on behalf of the people, if something government does the wrong, some person should be there. So that person or that party is the leader of opposition or opposition party. So some party against the government should be there. The strong opposition is the very core of our democracy. So that government also will work according to the wishes of the people, right? So that is the most significance why we require this opposition party or leader of opposition. Fine. So the leader of opposition will sit in the first row in the what you call Lok Sabha, right? He was recognized with the first seat. The first row seat itself will be given to the leader of opposition. He is also having the rank of cabinet minister. That means we have the cabinet. We have different ministers. We are not giving this status to opposition MPs. Only for that particular leader of opposition who is having the highest seats apart from the government, he will be given with the cabinet minister. He is equal to cabinet minister. Whatever the cabinet minister gets, the avenues and all from government, security, all those things will be given to that leader of opposition, even though he is not part of the government. So this is the rank of leader of opposition. They may ask you this also in the exam, right? Also, when the speaker is appointed after the elections, he will escort along with the prime minister. Yesterday you might have seen that Narendra Modi ji and Rahul Gandhi ji has went to the dais to congratulate the speaker, right? So that is the status, that is also one of the power or avenue for the leader of opposition, right? And he acts as a voice of opposition, as we have already discussed. He is called as a shadow prime minister. In British, there will, for every prime minister, there will be a person who will be taking care of his actions. Immediately he will question. For Ministry of Finance, there will be one more opposition minister to question him. Ministry of Home Affairs, there will be other opposition minister. So it was a shadow cabinet. We call this as a shadow cabinet, which is acting similar to this particular thing to question the individuals. So he acts as a shadow prime minister, right? So this is about the significance of leader of opposition. Also, he represents the opposition in appointing certain posts in the constitutional post or statutory post of the India. For example, Director of CBI, Central Vigilance Commissioner, right? Lokpal. These people are the highest constitutional as well as the statutory post. When they are appointing, the government, whoever is appointing these members, they have to consult the leader of opposition also. Leader of opposition is also one of the members of these committees who appoints this constitutional post. So this is also one important power for the leader of opposition, right? Yeah. So smooth functioning of house, balance of the power in the democracy, all these are the significance of leader of opposition, right? So that is about the leader of opposition. Now you need to know what actually is a leader of opposition. What is this 10% rule? It is just the convention, right? And what actually this Salary and Allowance Leaders of Opposition Parliament Act 1977 says. So that definition is also important. And what is the significance and role of the leader of opposition, that you can remember as well. Fine? Any doubts in this? Great. Let's move to the next question, next article, that is coalition of for disaster resilient infrastructure. Coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. Why it is there in news again? Because it has given a policy brief. A document was released by Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure related to the power sector and cyclones and floods. So this document is not relevant for us. It is a 100 pages document. So lot of suggestions, lot of all those things as given. That is not very important. Just understand the context that they have given some policy document. For us, this is important. What is this Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure? When it was launched, what is the objective, right? So all these things we have to know. Fine. So it is an international coalition, that means congregation of different members, not just about the governments, also private sector entities, academic institutions, countries as well, United Nations agencies as well. All together they have come as a congruence, and the aim of this is to promote the disaster resilient infrastructure. So what is disaster resilient infrastructure? That means whatever infrastructure that we are building, it can be roads, right? It can be railways, it can be buildings. All these infrastructure that we are developing should resist any disasters. It like floods, right? You see Japan, they have the buildings which can resist the earthquakes, right? If there is a high intensity of earthquake, of such earthquake intensity in India, most of the buildings will collapse, but Japan can resist because the design of this infrastructure are planned according to the earthquake, the resistance to the earthquake. The same way, this coalition together want to promote the disaster resilient infrastructure across the world. That is the objective of this organization or institution, right? So this is the objective. Now, when it was launched in 2019. In 2019, on the sidelines of United Nations Climate Action Summit in New York. So United Nations Summit related to the climate action was taken place in 2019 in the New York. On the sidelines of it, who launched this? This was launched by India in collaboration with UK, right? India plus UK, United Kingdom, that is British. They together have launched this initiative. Of course, they have allowed to other countries also. And as of now, we have more than 31 countries, 6 international organizations, private players, all those became part of it, right? So they may ask you, with which country India has initiated the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. There is one more organization which India was launched at the international level, that is International Solar Alliance. This we have launched with the support of France. Don't confuse. For International Solar Alliance, we have launched this along with the France, but Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, we have launched along with the United Kingdom, right? So this is also important fact. Any doubts in this? Any doubts? So if not, we'll move to the next article, a very important article again. We have a very good number of important articles. Persistent organic pollutants. Persistent, that means they will stay for longer period. Organic means which can come from the living matter. Organic means any whatever the living matter and all, right? And pollutants, of course, it is a pollution. Fine. Now, what is the context? Why it is there in news? A comprehensive study on these persistent organic pollutants report was launched by United Nations Environment Program. Alright, United Nations Environment Program has launched the comprehensive global study on this persistent organic pollutants. Right. So it also conducted the monitor status of 30 persistent organic pollutants, which were mentioned in the Stockholm Convention. So you may confuse with this, right? So now this is 2000, fine. So we need to know here about what are POPs. In this article we will discuss what are POPs, then what is actually the Stockholm Convention, this Stockholm Convention as well. Stockholm Convention as well we will discuss here, right? Now let's understand what actually this persistent organic pollutants. These are the class of organic chemicals. These are like organic chemicals like DDT, fertilizers we have. So those are the ones which pose significant threat to the humans as well as the environment by staying in the environment for longer period. For example, if you see certain gases, they will emit and they will disappear. But whatever these chemicals, organic chemicals, that will release from fertilizers and then industry wastes and all, it will stay in the earth. It will stay in our atmosphere, or it will stay in our land, it will stay in our water for longer period, and that will cause the harmful effects such as even cancer also, right? So those are called as the persistent organic pollutants, right? Which can stay in environment for longer period and have a huge impact on the human health. Fine. And some of the examples are pesticides, industrial chemicals, right? Unwanted byproducts. So these are all the ones which are examples of persistent organic pollutants, right? So this is a definition. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Okay. Let's move to the sources of POPs. From where this can be derived? This can be derived from solid waste, the landfills, whatever the dump that we are doing, and then production process of industries, agriculture practices like pesticides, fertilizers. So those can also lead to the emission of persistent organic pollutants. Vehicle exhaust fumes, right? Volcano eruptions as well. See, these sources why I am discussing. Recently UPSC has asked about the sources of SO2. SO2 has been asked, sulfur dioxide, right? So similarly they may also ask you about the sources from where this can be released. So these are the major sources for the POPs, right? So industry waste, agriculture, solid waste. See, whenever such type of questions are there, what are the sources and all, you can choose all the above, because there is maybe even 0.1% possibility, so that can be taken as a correct. That's why they cannot give the wrong option, so that will be disputed. So mostly all of the above will be there if they are asking such type of questions, right? So these are the sources of POPs. And what is the impact? What are the impacts of POPs? Human health, so it can lead to the cancer, as we have said earlier, birth defects, neural dysfunction, brain dysfunction, and then on the wildlife, they can affect their development, full-fledged development and survival. ecosystems, so there will be a lot of pollution as well. So these are the impacts of the persistent organic pollutions. Now coming to the Stockholm Convention, right? So Stockholm is a city, and here we have signed an agreement, Stockholm Convention. All the countries together have signed an agreement in 2001. In 2001 it was signed, but it came into enactment from 2004. The implementation after signing by ratification by the different countries, it came implementation from 2004. Remember this too as well. It was signed in 2001 but came into implementation from 2004. All right. So this is the as of now we have 186 countries as part of the Stockholm Convention. Now what is this treaty about? We have already discussed the persistent organic pollutant. So that is the main aim, to eliminate the persistent organic pollutants from our environment. That is the objective of Stockholm Convention. Approximately 30 POPs were mentioned under this agreement. The DDT, there is a lot of other things, you don't need to remember all the chemicals. So total 30 persistent organic pollutants were recognized to eliminate from our earth atmosphere, right? So this is the convention, and India has ratified this in 2006. So India is not a country which has signed from the origin, right? It is not the member from the beginning, rather it has joined in 2006. So as of now we are part of it. To implement this treaty, the Ministry of Environment has launched regulation of persistent organic pollutants in 2018. Here is also important. We have launched these rules under Environment Protection Act 1986. So to follow this Stockholm Convention, to implement the Stockholm Convention, Government of India through Ministry of Environment has launched regulation of POPs rules 2018 through Environment Protection Act. So this is also one important fact, right? They will also ask you about the year as well sometimes, right, if you are writing the lower level of exam. Now, according to the Stockholm Convention, there are 3 annexures. 3 annexures are there: Annexure A, Annexure B, Annexure C. In Annexure 1, it is to eliminate all those completely. That means they are the most harmful ones. They should be completely eliminated. Like pesticides like aldrin, DDT, all these are very harmful, so it should be completely eliminated. In Annexure B, restricted one. So they can be used only if it is very much required. If it is not required, you should eliminate them. So it is restricted in use. And then Annexure C, unintentional produced POP. So without knowing ourselves that POPs are being emitted, so such type of unintentional POPs should also be eliminated. That is kept under the Annex C. So examples, dioxins and furans. So these are the 3 annexures which the Stockholm Convention has divided to eliminate these things. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Let's move to the next article, that is Crocodile Conservation Project, a very factual in nature, Crocodile Conservation Project. So this year we are celebrating the 50th year of India's Crocodile Conservation Project. So it was launched in 1975. This is the 50th year, right? So this is a very important. We will see about the crocodiles also. We have a previous question also from crocodiles. So UPSC 2017. We will solve the question also at the end, right? So this is the context. Now what is the project about? Project is about conserving the crocodiles only. What is there? So from the name itself we will come to know, to conserve the crocodiles, right? It was launched in 1975 in the Odisha Bhitrakanika National Park. So in 1975 itself, the Ministry of Environment has launched from this Bhitrakanika National Park to protect the crocodiles. Crocodiles are very important. So they seems to be aggressive and all, but they are very important for the sustenance of the species, right? So it was launched with the assistance of 2 organizations, United Nations Development Program and Food and Agriculture Organization. So these 2 organizations have supported the India's initiative of Crocodile Conservation Project. Right? So this was the conservation. Now a very important one. How many types of crocodiles are there in India? What is their conservation status? A very, very important data. So understand this clearly. We have one question at the end from this table itself. from this table itself, but still some students will answer wrong. This is my challenge. Let's see, right? So these are the three types of crocodile species that is present in India. One is saltwater crocodiles. That means they live in the salt water. They are saltwater crocodiles and the conservation status is least concern. In IUCN, it is least concern. They are the largest living reptiles in Earth, a very important fact. They are the largest living reptiles on Earth. So in exam, if they ask you what is the largest living reptile on Earth, that is saltwater crocodile, not other crocodiles, okay? And yes, so this is the protection status. It is under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act and CITES also under Appendix 1. So they were given with the highest protection status. And in India, where they are found, this is also very important. They are found only in 3 locations in India. One is Bhitarkanika, Sundarbans and Andaman Nicobar Islands. So these are the 3 regions where these saltwater crocodiles are located. Bhitarkanika, Sundarban and Andaman Nicobar Island. Next species, in India only we have 3 types of crocodile species, right? Next one, Mugger crocodile or marsh crocodile. Mugger crocodile or marsh crocodile, right? So this is the second category of crocodiles that we have. They are, they dig burrows, right? And they are protected under vulnerable. That means they are more threatened. They are just saltwater crocodiles are least concerned. But here we have a vulnerable status in IUCN. And in India, wildlife protection all are Schedule 1 only, right? Where can we see this? Saltwater crocodiles we have seen in these 3 regions, but this Mugger crocodiles where we can see. In 15 Indian states, including the much of Ganga River drainage basin. So this is the region, Ganga River drainage basin is the main area of the Mugger crocodiles, right? Next one, about gharials. Gharials are the very important, they are critically endangered. If you have visited any zoo, you might have seen that nose is dip, there is a dip over the nose, right? Those are gharials, right? Because they have the knob over this nose, right? They are critically endangered species in IUCN, a very important status you need to remember. And where can we find them? They are found in the fresh water, unlike the saltwater crocodiles. And these crocodiles which can found, they are found highly in salt water, but these are mainly found in the fresh water, but also can be found in the sea water. But these are found only in the fresh water, mainly Chambal, Girwa, Gagra and Son Gandak river. So these are the regions for the gharial crocodiles, right? So this is a very important table. Many questions has been asked previously, and yes, there will be possible question as well. Any doubts in this? Let's also see about the Bhitarkanika National Park, as they have mentioned that we have launched this program from this national park. So this is very simple. This is located in the Odisha, very factual. This national park is located in the Odisha, and this is India's second largest mangrove ecosystem after Sundarbans. Sundarbans is having the highest mangrove ecosystem, and this is the second largest mangrove system. It is a Ramsar site as well. We have discussed many times Ramsar site, right, which were launched in Iran, 1971, right? It is also home to largest congregation of saltwater crocodiles. This Bhitarkanika National Park is the home for many of the saltwater crocodiles, right? So this is about the facts. Any doubts? The last article, we are coming to the last article now. Fine. Last article, Eflow monitoring system. Eflow monitoring system. Here E means environment. Yes, here it is. So here E means environmental flow. Remember, they will also ask you sometimes these full forms in SSC and all RRB if you write. So they will also ask you about this type of some silly questions also. Eflow means environmental flow, and this was recently launched by Jal Shakti Ministry in the Ganga River basin, right? Now, what is this environmental flow? For example, our body, take our own body. You need to have 3 sessions of food, need to have a good exercise, right? If everything is good, then only your body will be working in a 100% efficient manner. So this is the condition, efficient or the required condition for your body. So Eflow means, environmental flow means whatever the conditions that is required for river to protect or to remain in a natural way, That situation is called as environmental flow. Again I am repeating, environmental flow is a situation of a river where it requires all the mandatory conditions to sustain itself, to maintain the flow of water, right? So that is called as the environmental flow. So that is the flow that is required to meet the ecological function of flora and fauna present in that particular river. So this particular river, while flowing, there will be lot of species, lot of plants, right? So other ecosystem depends on that particular river. So to all these species, whatever depend on the river, should be sustained, and for that sustain there should be minimum flow of water. So that is called as the E-flow, right? Environment flow means minimum require of the flow of water to sustain all those species without effect, to remain in a natural manner. So that is called as the environmental flow. This environmental flow initiative was launched under National Mission for Clean Ganga. National Mission for Clean Ganga, which was launched in 2015 to clean the Ganga river, right? So that is the background. Now it also will be launched in Ganga, Yamuna and other tributaries as well. The same E-flow condition, minimum water flow, will be implemented in the Yamuna and other tributaries also, because Yamuna is also tributary of Ganga, right? It obviously merges into the Ganga. Fine. So through this, if this initiative is launched, E-flow monitoring system is launched, we can maintain regular flow of water, and then all the species will be in a good condition. So that is about the simple topic, environmental flow. Fine. Now let's see some factual pointers. Some experts have raised the concern regarding the heating of food at the high temperatures and packing them in the plastic, plastic materials with the plastic packs and all. So they have raised that they are harmful to our health, right? Because they contain the chemicals called bisphenol, phthalates and styrene. So this may be asked in the exam. Either they may ask you all these three things and what are they may also ask you in the exam, or they can ask you only bisphenol, and they may also ask you about phthalates or styrene. So all these are nothing but the plastic chemicals found in the plastic, right? Even in the bottles also we have. So don't drink water from the plastic bottles. You can use the steel bottles, right, or steel glasses. Fine. So these are all the ones which are harmful to our health. Next one, exercise HOPEX. It is a joint military exercise, not Navy or Air Force. It is a military exercise. Military exercise between India and Egypt. India and Egypt. Okay, this is a Indian Air Force. Though it is a military exercise, but involved are IAF and Egyptian Air Force. So this may be confusing. This was done by two air forces, Egypt and India, right? This is not, though this military means comes everything. So this is a general term, but participants are Indian Air Force and Egyptian Air Force. Remember this fact, right? It aims to promote the bilateral and regional cooperation between the two countries. Fine. Mostly they will also ask you two questions from it. Exercise HOPEX is exercise between which two countries, India and Egypt, and which forces. They may also ask you about this, Air Force or Navy or land military. So it is nothing but the Indian Air Forces. Next one, Ladakh has achieved the full functional literacy status. Very important fact. Which state or union territory recently achieved the 100% functional literacy? That is Ladakh. And what is functional literacy? Functional literacy means ability to use the literary skills in terms of writing, in terms of study, right, in terms of understanding. So all the people should achieve it. Then it is called as a functional literacy, right? So it covers from the age group of 15 years and above. So this is also one important. This functional literacy is calculated among the people whose age is more than 15 years. So all these people should read and write and understand also, right? So that is also one more fact. Very good evening, Kumari. Welcome to the session. Last fact, South India's first and the country's largest leopard safari was recently inaugurated in the Bennerghatta Biological Park by Karnataka Environment Minister Ishwar Kandre, right? That is not very important. Just remember the states and then which region, which national park or biological park. This is the South India's first and country's largest leopard safari. Leopard safari, right? So important fact. So those are all the facts for today. Now let's solve the practice questions. First one, see, this is how the questions are asked. Whatever we are discussing, they may not directly ask all the questions, right? You need to have that mindset where you need to apply what you have studied, right? So from that only, let's see the question. Which of the following is the sources of persistent organic pollutants? The main source. Yes, there may be minute things. If that is 3 options and then if they give you 2 or 3 combinations and then ask 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 to 3, then you can choose all 1 to 3. There is a high chance of possibility that this will get correct. But if they give you the options, you need to choose the best one. That means what is the major sources for it? There may be minute emissions, but what is the main source of this pollutant? So that's how you need to answer the question. So what is the answer for it? Automobile exhaust, agriculture pesticides, solar panels, wind turbines. Out of this, what are the major ones you need to answer? The answer is agriculture pesticides, right? Automobile exhaust, there is a very minute things, the least sources, right? But the best one that you need to choose is because agriculture pesticides, these are the ones which are organic in nature. Persistent organic. In automobile exhaust, there is no organic. Very minute POPs are there, some things, but they are not very much organic. That's why the answer is B. So who have answered this question? Ramanjanelu has answered it as correct, and then Srinath has answered it as correct. Very good. So this is how the questions are confused by the examiners. Next one, the second question. Consider the following statements regarding rooftop solar program in India. So we have seen the discussion on rooftop solar panels, right? There are 3 statements now. The initial target of rooftop solar energy program under Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission was set up as 100 gigawatts by 2022. So this is the first statement. As of December 2022, Gujarat had the highest installed rooftop solar energy capacity among the Indian states. So this is the second statement. To achieve India's 2030 target of 500 gigawatts renewable energy, RTS needs to contribute 100 gigawatts. So we have discussed all these things in a detailed manner. I have shown you each of the fact that we have discussed. So what is the answer for this question? Right, we had a very detailed discussion. You have to answer this question. Let's see the second statement. Gujarat had the highest installed, followed by Maharashtra and Rajasthan. We have seen this. So second statement is correct. So you can eliminate 2 options, right? Then to achieve India's 2030 target of 500 gigawatts, 100 gigawatts of rooftop was the target. Yes, this is also correct. So 2, 3 should be there. We got the answer. So here the initial target was just 20 gigawatts. Later we have increased it to 40, right? RTS is only just about the 40. Out of the 100, 40 was the target in the rooftop solar energy. So first statement is wrong. Yes, Malini, Ramanjanelu, Kumari, Santi. Answer is D. Keshav has answered this as correct, right? Next one, there are 4 statements and 1 incorrect statement about leader of opposition has to be chosen. Out of the 4, you need to choose the incorrect statement. The leader of opposition is a member of largest party in the opposition to the government, having the greatest numerical strength in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So this is the first statement. The leader of opposition is entitled. See, don't answer immediately. Read all the 4 statements, understand, then only answer the question. Right? In the exam also, you need to complete reading of all the questions, then only decide the answer. Don't just jump to the answer immediately. So you have read somewhere, so you may choose immediately the option A, but read the question completely, then answer it. Next one, leader of opposition is entitled to the same salary and allowance as the cabinet minister. So this is the second statement. The position of leader of opposition is mandatory and cannot remain vacant in the either house of the parliament. Right? So this is the third statement. The leader of opposition plays a significant role in appointments of key officials such as Director of CBI, Central Vigilance Commissioner, etc. So what is the answer for this? Third question. D is correct, we have seen. So he is one of the member of the appointing committee of various commissions and all, right? Second statement, yes, he has the cabinet status, so he will get the salary, all those things with the same as that of the cabinet minister. Leader of opposition can have the great, yes, he is the one who is having the highest numerical strength beyond the government, right? So this is also correct. And the third is wrong. So hence answer is correct because it can remain vacant. That's what we have discussed. 10 years it was vacant without any recognition, right? So very easy question if you have patience to read the statements. Ramanjanelu, Ranjan, Srinath, Malini, all of you are correct. Next one, this was taken from UPSC 2017. I have told you that we will have one question from one table. We have discussed from one table. This is a previous year question itself. Correct, Kumari Santi. So let's see who will answer this question. If you want to see gharials in their natural habitat, which one of the following is the best place to visit? Bitrakanika mangroves, Chambal River, Pulicat Lake, Dipar Beel. So this is the question. Now I have even challenged that few students will get it wrong. Let's see. So let's see, Dipar Beel and Pulicat Lake, these are eliminated. These are Pulicat Lake is located in Andhra Pradesh, so we haven't discussed about this. Dipar Beel is in Assam, so that is also not popular for gharials. So the answer is Chambal River. Bitrakanika mangroves is popular for saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles, right? We have discussed. The gharials are famous from Chambal River. So answer is B. Yes, most of you have answered this correct. Very good. Ramanjanelu, Malini, Kumari, Srinath and Ranjan. Okay. So the answer is Chambal River. So go through the table again. You can expect a question from it. Last question for today. South India's first and the country's largest leopard safari was launched in. South India's first and country's largest leopard safari was launched in Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Very direct question. So it is in Bannerghatta. Right, Bannerghatta Biological Park, which is located in the Karnataka. Right, very direct question. Yes, correct. So Kumari Santi, you are correct. So this is all of today's. Yes, Srinath, Ramanjanelu, everyone have answered this correct. So this is all for today's session. I hope you have enjoyed. We have a very good number of environmental articles. So try to revise them and remember them. Thank you. Have a great evening.